Welcome everybody to the season finale for Dunland. I forgot what season we're in. I think this is season 16. I don't know. Regardless, it's going to be the finale. And as always, I'm going to go over all of the deeds in this location here in Dunland. But I also like to go over a few other things as well. I'm at this crazy location here. You may or may not know where I am, but we'll talk about it in a little bit. So, as always, I like to go into a new season with a new title pertaining to the previous season. So we just finished up here in Dunland, so I'm going to head into the next one as Kip and Proudfeet, ally of the Dunlendings. I think that sounds pretty sweet. Okay, so next up, let me go over some of these things here. So let me go over some of my class traits. I've got 1 point to spend, and I guess I'll just keep going red line here. I'll just go ahead and apply that. Perfect. And then, as always, these race traits are going to remain unchanged. Hobbit stature for 70 might. And then Hobbit stealth in case I ever have to use that. This gives me a quick travel skill back to the Shire, which is useful at times. The Hobbit club damage bonus is good because my legendary weapon I forged as a club. So therefore, I automatically just get 5% damage bonus, which adds up over time, obviously. And then Hobbit Silence, which is basically something to drop aggro. Again, that's going to remain unchanged pretty much for the remainder of the playthrough. Now, something that is quite different and exciting, as many of you know, with Update 24, the trait system has been completely revamped. So, looking at these virtues, obviously looks a lot different than the last season finale. So now when you do certain deeds and quests and reputations, instead of getting a specific virtue, you get experience towards any virtue that you want. And you can kind of equip these. And now you also get a passive. So everything that you have has a passive on it. So for example, here in Idealism, if you look at the very bottom, it says passive bonus plus 93 morale. So I don't even have to have this virtue equipped in order to obtain that bonus. What does this all mean? I think for me, this is a good change. Since I'm doing a 100% playthrough and I'm doing every single deed, I'm going to be getting a lot of virtue. So what that means is that I'm going to have a lot of passive bonuses in addition to the things that I am equipping. So right now, I've got the determination to get that agility. I've got discipline to get some resistance. And I've got loyalty to get some vitality. I've got honor to increase my morale and mitigations a little bit. And then tolerance, again, to increase my mitigations. There's also a brand new virtue called wit, and it says I'm earning here. That means I'm trying to get experience on it. As you can see, it's my lowest one, and it looks like it's a very good one because you can see it's leveling up your finesse, your critical rating, your physical mastery, and your tactical mastery. So I think once I level this up a little more, it's going to be a really good one to use. So that's what I'm working towards here. So that's that. All right. So let me actually start going over some of the deeds here in Dunland. Unfortunately, I can't do all of them right now, and there's a very good reason for that. In fact, these deeds here in Dunland are actually tied to 3 different locations. So not only Dunland itself, but also the Gap of Rohan and Nankurinir. So I haven't been to the latter 2 locations yet, so I can't finish all of those deeds. So for example, Explorer of Dunland, I can't finish it because I need to explore the Heathfells, which is in the Gap of Rohan. I need to explore Isendale, which I think it's in the Gap of Rohan as well, and Nankurinir, which is in a map all by itself. So those will be finished up later. As you can see, here's exploring Nankurinir, which is going to be for a later season. Same thing here for this meta deed for quests in the Dunland. I can't finish all the quests in the Heathfells because that's going to be in the Gap of Rohan, so on and so forth. And finally, same thing for Slayer. I was able to do most of the Slayer deeds, except for Uruk-hai. There were a few instance quests here in Dunland that allowed me to kill some Uruk-hai. In particular, it allowed me to kill 31 of them. But really, the best way to do this is going to be in the Nankurinir map. So all these Slayer deeds count whether you do them in Dunland, in the Gap of Rohan, or Nankurinir, and as you can see I was able to do most of them just in Dunland itself, but not all of them. One thing that I will say, I'm going to be showing you all of the exploration deeds and all of the Slayer deeds, but one thing that I will mention right off the bat is that the Beast Slayer, I'm not going to show you that specifically, and the reason for that is that when I'm doing the Craban-slayer deed and the Warg-slayer deed, both of those counts as beasts. So if you do Craban and Wargs, you'll also just get beasts in and of itself. So that's why I'm not going to show this one in specific. But if you see here all the completed deeds, you can see that there are a lot of exploration deeds, which I'm going to be showing you. All these explorations here. And then you got the quest deeds, completing quests in all the different locations, which of course I did all of them. And that's great. There's the tracking an old goat deed. If you remember that, that's the one in the Gravenwood where you get that companion and he gives you quests along the way. And if you do all of them, you get the old ghost. And then you got the Slayer deeds here, which I just kind of talked about. So that's it. Let me go ahead and start showing you those deeds now. The first exploration deed is exploring Carreglyn. Carreglyn has many places to explore. The first landmark is Lower Barnavon. Lower Barnavon is a district of the village of Barnavon, where the remnant of the Turkluth, the Boar clan, now dwell. Next is Upper Barnavon. Upper Barnavon is a district of the village of Barnavon inhabited by the ruling Ukluth, the Ox clan. Next is Nar Madhul. Nar Madhul is an encampment of goblins and wargs, established to allow Saruman's Nakmal scouts to access Carreglyn. Next is the Barnavon Mine. This mine, currently being worked in the name of Saruman the White, has been overrun by vicious Bugon. Next is Han Tural. This watchtower was built atop the ruins of an ancient Gondorian tower. Next is Lun Avank. This pond is rumored to be the home of the Great Avank, a creature of Dunlandish legend. Finally, there is Moonferial's Shrine. This shrine was erected by the Ukluth long ago as a place to commune Moonferial, a spirit of ancient days worshipped as the Uk-Gwirod, the ox spirit, by the people of Barnavon. The next exploration deed is exploring Starkmoor. Starkmoor has many places to explore. The first landmark is Averdin. Averdin is a trading post and village of the Ukluth, Ox clan, in the Starkmoor. Next is Flamcadlis. Flamcadlis is an encampment of the Drengluth, Dragon clan, in the Starkmoor. Next is Cartrev Andros. This is the home of the merchant Andros, to whom you have lent aid in a time of need. Next is the Hound's Rest. The Hound's Rest is so named because the wargs of the enemy like to sun upon the rock. Next is the Overlook of Wolf's Cleft. The Overlook gives a vantage of the Great Valley of Wolf's Cleft, where warriors from across Dunland muster to invade Rohan. Next is the Culling Pit. The Culling Pit is an arena where the Dunlandish warriors are trained, or trimmed, and merchants wager on the battles. The next exploration deed is exploring the Bonevales. The Bonevales has many places to explore. The first landmark is the Bone Quarry. The Bone Quarry is an old stone quarry in the Bonevales where the Dievlig have erected many cairns. Next is Plas Maru. This massive cairn is the central tomb of all the Dievlig's leaders. Next is Ikad Naglonk. This is where the ranger Naglonk and his Dunlanding allies have set up camp. Next is Lonbach. This Dievlig village suffers under the oppressive rule of their Brennan, Treharn. Finally, there is Lan Gogled. Lan Gogled is the central village of the Dievlig in the Bonevales. The next exploration deed is exploring the Dunbog. Dunbog has many places to explore. As you tread through the swamps, be careful to stop and smell the sulfur. The first landmark is Lan Kolvarn. You have found Lan Kolvarn, home of the abominations. Next is Lan Ross. You have found Lan Ross, home of the Avancluth. Next is the Withered Stones. You have found the Withered Stones, home of Bloodmaw and her brood. Next is Durgors. You have found Durgors, temporary home of the Boar clan. Finally, there is the Pristine Glade. You have found the Pristine Glade, a secret place of the Avancluth. The next exploration deed is exploring Trum Dreng. Trum Dreng, home to the Stag clan, has many places to explore. The first landmark is the Dire Hollow. The Dire Hollow is a den of evil wolves which plague the people of Lantaran. Next is the Herdlands. These wide fields are used by the Carreglyn Stag clan as grazing lands for their herds of oxen. Next is Lantaran. Lantaran is home of the Carreglyn Stag clan, a dwindling people in Dunland. Next is the North Pass. The North Pass leads from Trum Dreng into the Mornshaws of Enidwith. Next, there is the watchtower. This old tower once served as a watch post for the folk of Trum Dreng. Finally, there is the White Hand Outpost. This encampment houses many half-orcs in the service of the White Hand of Isengard. The last exploration need for now in Dunland is exploring the Gravenwood. The Gravenwood has many places to explore. The first landmark is the Tree of Tribute. This great rune-marked tree is the place where a Dunlandish hero of old sacrificed himself to hold off the advance of his people's enemies. Next is the Mustering Tree. This rune-marked tree is a place where the Dunlendings once mustered their forces to battle against Gondor and Rohan. Next is the Rohirrim Scout Camp. This camp was established by Theodred, Prince of Rohan, and his party of scouts to watch the movements of the Dunlendish forces. Next is the Slade of Shadows. This slate of 3 rune-marked trees houses Dúthglith, a relic of great power wrestled from Dol Guldur, where the White Council drove forth the Necromancer. Next is the Uval Cadlus. The Draegluth dragon clan established this temporary encampment on their journey south out of Enedwyth to Wolf's Cleft. Next is Rúvel Cadlus. The Ukluth Ox clan established this temporary encampment on their journey from Barnavon to Wolf's Cleft. Finally, there is Akgru. Orcs of the White Hand established this camp to clear-cut the Gravenwood to supply wood for their master's war efforts. Next, there are the Slayer deeds in Dunland, and don't forget that all of them are tied between the Gap of Rohan, Non-Coronir, and Dunland. The first Slayer deed is Craban-slayer, and the best place to get this done is here in Dunland at Rook's Hut. Next, there is the Dunlending-slayer deed. And I think that the best way to get this one done is here at the lumber camp outside of Galtrev. There's a steady supply of Dunlendings, and they're pretty low HP, so you can burn them down pretty quickly. Next, there is the Goblin-slayer deed. And these little Bugon also count as goblins, so there's a lot of them in this cave here in the Barnavon mine, in the southern areas of Dunland. Next, there is the Half-orc Slayer deed, and this one is best accomplished here at this White Hand outpost in Dunland. There's a pretty good chunk of them here. The respawn's a little slow, but it works. Next, there is the Orc-slayer deed, and here in Dunbog is one of the best places to accomplish it. These orcs here are low HP, and there's just a ton of them everywhere here. Now, don't forget the Beast-slayer deed I'm not showing explicitly, but the Craban and the Warg-slayer deeds both contribute to the Beast-slayer, so as long as you do those, you should get Beast-slayer as well. Next, there is the Slayer of the Dead deed, in which you have to kill some of the undead enemies. And the Bonevales is really the best place for it. This one's a little bit slower because they're not as concentrated, but it's a good area. Just go around killing some of these. Finally, there is the Warg-slayer deed, and the Howling Caves is the best place in Dunland to do this. Don't forget, like I mentioned, this does count towards the Beast-slayer deed. Also, there is the Uruk-hai-slayer deed, which I'm not showing like I mentioned because I can't really do that until I get to the map Nun-Kuranir. I'll show it at that finale instead of this one. Alright, so those are the deeds that I could show you for now. And then next up, let me go ahead and show you the reputation faction here in Dunland. Okay, so in terms of the reputation factions in Dunland, the only one that there is the Men of Dunland. And you can see I'm already kindred with them. The chieftains of Dunland have rallied beneath the banner of Saruman, but the common folk struggle beneath the yoke of Isengard's oppression, which demands that they supply Saruman's armies with food and armaments, while the people grow hungry and resentful. So there's only one guy that trades some of the things here, and it's going to be this Dunlanding quartermaster. You will see that there is a Rohirrim quartermaster here that you can trade things with. He's going to be reputation for a different faction that we'll get more into at a later season. For the purposes of this season, we're going to strictly focus on the Dunlandings in terms of reputation. So let me show you some of the things that he trades.
What do you have to offer the Occluth?
So if you are to filter here, he does give you some pretty good armor that you can barter for, some good jewelry, mounts as always. There are recipes that you can get. And then there are some class items in terms of traveling. So notably, there's actually some good armor upgrades for me here. So I'm going to the back here. So this drape is actually better than the one I have. If you take a look, I'll get more armor. I'll get 140 agility, which is super important as a warden, while sacrificing only 106 might. I'll get more vitality out of this, which is also going to be important. I will sacrifice some of that physical mastery rating, but I'll make up a lot of that through the 140 agility, so it's almost equivalent, I believe. And then I get more critical rating, about double, so this is a definite upgrade for me. I'll go ahead and purchase that. And then there's something else that is considered an upgrade for me. If I go on over to jewelry, this Ring of the Falcon is pretty good. As you can see, it provides 219 agility compared to the 169, which I'm using right now. So, not too bad. I get 314 morale out of that as well, although I am sacrificing some of the vitality, so it's about the same amount of morale, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is better actually. If I were to trade both of these rings, I would get about, I don't know, 100 extra agility, but I would sacrifice some physical mastery, some finesse, and some of that vitality. I think it's worth it though, because I still want to stack the agility. So maybe what I'll do is I'll get just one of these and just keep it half and half. Let's do that. I could put this all into a calculator and be very numerical about which one is better, but I don't feel like doing that. I'm just gonna go ahead and get one of these, and we'll call it a day there. Now the other thing that I want to get is, of course, the mount, the prize mount from the Dunlendings. I'll go ahead and purchase one of those. And then finally, I want to get my Muster in Galtrev travel skill that I can use as a warden. And then I think you can even get a regular one like this, Return to Galtrev. I'll do that as well. That way I have 2 Return to Galtrevs. Not that I will ever need that, but there you go. So that's really all that's worth here in terms of the reputation. Let me go ahead and show you guys this new mount. Let's see what he looks like. Not a bad looking pony at all. I think it looks pretty cool. I like that white, the decoration on it. Very cool. Alright, so that is it for the reputation here in Dunland. Okay, now that we're back, let me go ahead and equip the things I just got. So let me put on this new cloak. Excellent. And a new ring. Perfect. Very good. Actually, let me see something. We were trying to calculate things. Let me see what my physical mastery is. 25,718. So with my other ring, I actually have a little bit more physical mastery, but less of the agility. So I think it's okay for me to do 1 and 1, as we just discussed. Alright, and I think that for this next season, I'm going to change my outfit. Why not? It's been a while, and the location where we're going is going to be quite conducive for this sort of outfit that I wore during the Moria season, and I kind of like it, so why not? Let's change it out. A change of pace. Now, I'm not going to reveal where we're going just yet for the next season, but I had a change of plans. I had things planned out a certain way, and I changed my mind. Initially, after this season, I was going to go back and do some things in Enedwith, like a couple of the raids, and I was going to go through the In Their Absence quest chain, but I don't think I'm quite ready to do that yet. I think I'm going to finish a couple more seasons, and then I'll go back and do those. So for now, we're just going to head out, and let me show you where I've been this whole time. This is a kind of a secret location. It's an abandoned snowman village. Look at all these little snowmen and their igloos. Quite interesting, huh? They all look so happy. That one's smoking his pipe. What a good boy. Got the little snowman family over here. This one's got pretty lanky arms, not gonna lie. And really, this is where I am. Right here. But anyways, that is going to do it for this season. The next one is going to be a surprise. Where am I going? You'll find out pretty soon. On the next episode, actually. So, I hope you enjoyed this one. I did have a ton of fun going through Dunland. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.